Good morning and welcome to Face the Nation from the library of the Washington University School of Law. I'm John Dickerson. It's been 2 days since the video of Donald Trump's disparaging comments about women surfaced in the Washington Post. The reaction has crippled the Trump campaign. At least 24 Republicans who had previously supported Donald Trump now say they will no longer support him. Some have gone further and urged him to step aside. Trump surrogate and former New York Mayor Rudy Giuliani joins us now from Trump Tower. Mr. Mayor, what does Donald Trump think he did wrong in that video from 2005?
Well, I can't tell you what was in his mind exactly, but it's obvious he's apologized for it. He is very embarrassed about it. He's a different man now than he was then, having gone through 14 months of a campaign that, having gone through it myself, convinces you of a lot of things that are important that maybe you don't realize before. I think he's embarrassed from the point of view of his wife and his 2 daughters and his 3 granddaughters. It's certainly not language he ever wants them to hear, and sort of embarrassed that they will now, at least some of them, know about it. And I guess like a lot of us who have done something wrong, he wishes he hadn't done it. And he's asking for forgiveness. And I think when you look at what's at stake here and the number of people that voted for him, the number of people who have confidence in him, the number of people that believe he's leading a movement to change Washington, and his opponent is someone who is more of the same, I think there's a heavy weight on him to not pull out and run this race to the end. I mean, frankly,
Mr. Mayor, how do we know what he's apologizing for if we don't know what he's apologizing for?
Well, he is. He's apologizing for what he said. He's apologizing for having made those terrible remarks. He's saying, I'm sorry for having done it. I don't know how much further he can go and apologize. I'm a Catholic, and you go to confession and you explain your sins to the priest, and then he makes you make a firm resolution not to do it again, and he gives you absolution. And he's telling the American people, I sinned, I was wrong, I made terrible mistakes, and I'm asking for your forgiveness. And I'm trying to explain to you that.
What does this say about his character?
I think what it says about his character is that he's a flawed human being, and gosh, under my sort of theology that I spent a lot of time studying when I was a young man, we all are. And he has his set of flaws, and I have mine, and I guess there are a few perfect people, but in my view, there's only been one, and that was Jesus Christ. So maybe
the reason.
Maybe people should step back and take a look at the fact that we have flawed candidates on both sides. I know the WikiLeaks revelations kind of got dwarfed by this, but that shows a person who's one person in private, another person in public, a person who fought very, very hard to keep those private when she was running against Bernie Sanders, because they make apparent everything Bernie Sanders was saying about her and she was lying about while she was running. She also lied to the FBI, which turns out to be a crime.
Let me ask here, Mr. Mayor, in these remarks, though, Donald Trump, and as you say, we are all sinners, but it's one thing to ask for forgiveness. It's another thing to ask to be elevated to the office of the presidency. In these remarks, Donald Trump is speaking in quite a jocular terms about sexual assault, about having affairs with married women. Mike Pence recently said character matters to the presidency, and Donald Trump will bring the highest level of integrity. Does that characterization, the highest level of integrity, still stand?
I don't know. I hate to get terribly theological about it, but have you ever read the Confessions of St. Augustine? I mean, the reality is that men can change, people can change. Sometimes going through things like this makes you into a much better person. I know Donald Trump for 28, 29 years. I never heard him talk like that, and I've seen him do a lot of wonderful things for people, including taking people from entry-level jobs to the top of his company. I've seen him help people in need, and I've seen a different man in the last year and a half than even the Donald Trump I knew in the past, because I see a man who understands now the weight that's on his shoulders for the people who believe that Washington is corrupt, that Washington doesn't serve them, that Hillary Clinton is part of that and has been part of that for years, and that we need this kind of change. We need someone who can change Washington, basically kick everybody out. And look, even President Clinton told us that the single biggest thing in the Obama administration was crazy, Obamacare.
But, and we're
going to continue that? We're going to continue that?
Mr. Mayor, what I hear from Republicans, though, is that these were the words of a 60-year-old man, not some teenager, but that also this represents something different that they've seen a lot of, not 10 years ago, but in this president's campaign, which is that Donald Trump doesn't participate with the normal boundaries of things, that whether it's about the Khan family that he attacked, or whether it's the heritage of a judge that he talked about, or a Muslim ban, that there are a series of things where Donald Trump is either too volatile politically or temperamentally outside of the normal boundaries, and that makes him unqualified for the presidency. And that's why you have people taking new steps. Condi Rice saying, enough, Donald Trump should not be president. She hasn't weighed in on this campaign, but this represents a habit of mind that worries them.
Well, the reality is there's a great difference between those comments on tape, which were truly reprehensible, and we all agree with that, including Donald Trump, and some of the battles that have gone on during the campaign. And the simple fact is, we have flawed candidates on both sides. Hillary Clinton has her set of problems that are equal or worse than Donald Trump's. I mean, she's.
But Mr. Mayor, are you saying they're equal to?
Basically, well, please let me finish. She told the FBI that she didn't know that confidential on a sensitive government document meant confidential. Now, I was in the Justice Department for 17 years. That's a lie. Just between you and me, if you believe that, I can sell you the Brooklyn Bridge. That's a lie. That's what Martha Stewart went to jail for, a violation of 18 U.S.C. Section 1001. I could list for you maybe 35 crimes she committed that the FBI and the Justice Department, I believe, let her off the hook for just because she was Hillary Clinton. You want someone in the White House who couldn't pass an FBI background check because she was extremely careless with top secret information. So we have flawed candidates on both sides. Maybe that's going to force us to get to the issues.
All right, Mr. Mayor, I'm afraid we're out of time here. Thanks so much for being with us.